I'm at a loss of words to express how I feel.
Investigations later revealed that this was a preventable tragedy. Poor drainage, choked gutters, unregulated construction on waterways, and a lack of disaster preparedness all played a role. What should have been heavy rain became a national tragedy because the system simply failed.
There are those who will wish to apportion blame, and quite truthfully, there's plenty of blame to go around. But when we list one by one the various mistakes and failings that contributed to this catastrophe, I hope it is not for the purpose of pointing fingers, but rather of making certain that something of this nature never again happens to our dear country.
Proper that once you know that you're going to have a longer time for the water to enter into the sea, it means that you have to create your retention ponds to be wider, be able to accommodate a certain quantity of water to minimize the extent of devastation.
It's not that years later, so little has changed. We remember the victims. We honor the heroes. But remembrance must lead to reform. Otherwise, we're just waiting for the next disaster.
Meanwhile, Greater Accra Regional Director of National Disaster Management Organization, NADMO, Dennis Nate Ajano, says engineers who approved building permits and property owners who developed wetlands and Ramsar sites will face prosecution even after affected structures are demolished. He made the announcement at the launch of the No Do Flood Awareness campaign by NADMO, aimed at encouraging responsible environmental practices to help reduce flooding.
And those who are building on waterways, the first thing is your structure will be pulled down. And I think in the past we've been doing demolition of the structures without any prosecution. But now, when we pull down the structure, we'll prosecute you, the owner, as well. Then you can bring the one who sold the land to you on board. And also, if you have permits, then the engineer who authorized that permit would also be brought to book, because wetlands are not title lands. And before you go through the permit process, you must first of all have a title land before you may be approved, or your permit will be approved. So it means that if you have a permit and that place is not titled, then your permit is illegal. So
that's NADMO's Greater Accra Regional Director speaking there, Dennis Nate Ajano. Majority Leader Mahama Yariga has stated emphatically that Speaker Alban Bagbin cannot overturn Parliament's decision to pass the Human Sexual Rights and Family Values Bill 2025. His comments come after the Speaker appealed to Parliament to reconsider the controversial bill following concerns surrounding the process that led to its passage on Friday, May 29. Bagbin has indicated that he expected the House to commence consideration of the bill and was surprised to learn that all stages of the legislative process had been completed. But Majority Leader Mahama Yariga says that the legislation was approved in full compliance with parliamentary procedures and that no rules were breached during its passage. Speaking on Hot Edition on 3FM, a former MP and Lands Minister Inusa Fuseni says the call by the Speaker is a novelty and should be cautious with that precedence.
Well, again, that is a novelty. Because when a bill is read for the third time in Parliament and passed, Parliament becomes contus officio. So it's a novelty. I have not, during my stay in Parliament, I didn't come across an issue where the bill will be read the third time and passed and subjected to another reconsideration. I see. Because when a bill is read the third time and passed, Parliament becomes contus officio. They cannot consider the bill again. The bill leaves the jurisdiction of Parliament. What happened in Parliament and what will happen when the bill is transmitted to the President for assent? There are many options open to the President. If the President is of the view that certain provisions of the bill, he doesn't side with certain provisions of the bill, he can refer the bill to the Council of State or advice.
That was former MP and Lands Minister Inusa Fuseni. Now, the Komfo Anokye Teaching Hospital in Kumasi has temporarily suspended the admission of new cases at its Accident and Emergency Center due to congestion at the health facility. A statement released by the hospital's public affairs unit indicated that the center was full and overflowing with waiting patients, compelling the hospital not to admit new emergency cases for the next 24 hours. Head of Public Affairs Unit at CAF, Kwame Frimpong, emphasized that the A&E Center, which was originally designed as a 37-bed facility, currently has 61 patients on admission at its orange, yellow, and red critical wards, with 34 others waiting in queue to be tended to. The hospital has consequently urged the public to make use of its peripheral hospitals in the region until the situation at its A&E Center improves in the coming days. Government has announced plans to complete and operationalize more than 35 stalled health facilities across the country as part of efforts to strengthen healthcare delivery and advance universal health coverage. Speaking at the Ghana Health Service Senior Managers Meeting, the Health Minister Kwabena Minta Kando noted the government is mobilizing resources to ensure that unfinished health facilities are completed. Take a listen to him.
The state is looking for resources to continue and complete not less than 35 of the Agenda 1 health facilities. So that is what government is directly going to invest in. We have 3 tiers of strategies. One is government direct investment to finish and run. The second one is our partners in the sector, CHAG and others. If they also identify some, government is willing to give it out to them because they are non-profit organizations. So government is willing to sit around the table with those organizations so that they can continue, finish, and operationalize those facilities. Then the third tier is the pure private sector. If the private individual is also interested, based on the investment made by government in that particular facility, we also have an arrangement of MOU.
And just before we go, government plans to introduce a new rice import quota policy aimed at increasing demand for locally produced rice and strengthening Ghana's domestic rice value chain. Speaking at the West Africa Rice Investment Roundtable in Accra on Tuesday, the Minister for Food and Agriculture, Eric Opoku, said the new policy will tie rice import permits to support for local production. Ending the morning news on 3FM 92.7. For more stories and updates, please check out our website, 3news.com. My name is Christabel Success Trevor. Business is up next.